Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven, and I like to talk about horror movies. I'm also gay. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope that you stick around for a little while. We have a fun time. If you're returning, hi, welcome back. Glad that I didn't scare you off. So I semi-recently, and by semi-recently I mean this past November, came out of the closet. Not that one, the metaphorical one. I came out to the most supportive horror community ever. I just want to reiterate that, how grateful I am for that, because I know not everybody's coming out story is as nice. So there is a lot of queer horror, queer coded horror, which makes a lot of sense because horror is such a transgressive genre and explores tons of themes that the societal outsider can relate to, whether that be themes dealing with gender, race, or sexual orientation. As a baby gay, I'm trying to get my education. I'm sure nobody's made that joke before, ever. I'm gonna watch the essentials, okay? I'm gonna watch the essential queer horror movies. There's a lot out there. I asked you guys on Instagram a while ago and you guys gave me so many great options. Pretty much all of the suggestions I got are featured on my friend and patron's Letterboxd list. Wren, shout out to Wren. So I'm gonna use their Letterboxd list as a guide. I'm gonna link their Letterboxd list in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Speaking of patrons though, I want to thank all of my creepy patron peeps for supporting me and my channel. Thank you guys so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, the link is in the description. You can check out all the perks. I just opened up annual memberships if that interests you. If you sign up for an annual membership, you will get 2 months free. So my plan is to watch this list in its entirety, and then I'll make these videos as I go along. But I'm gonna watch them all whether I've seen the film before or not, which is a great segue to this first film, which is The Old Dark House. So I saw this movie for the first time back in 2018. I'll link the review up here if you want to watch it. I did go back and rewatch it, so I'll recap my thoughts on it for you here if you don't want to go back and watch that. A little bit cringy. So to quickly recap, I really liked the setting and the set of the movie. It's dark, rainy, gothic-y kind of mansion setting that's super cozy, makes you feel like you want to tell ghost stories around a fireplace. I really liked the actual house as a set. It was very sparsely decorated, which kind of made everything feel very cavernous, and that it's just consuming the characters. I really liked that. What I really did not like about this movie, because I ranted about it, is what I felt was a very rushed and just I felt a needed love connection between Roger and Gladys. Watching me ranting about that, I feel like the then closeted lesbian in me was poking her head out. So I'm really excited to rewatch it to see if I feel any differently about it. I'm not going in with any expectations that I'm suddenly gonna love it just because I'm out of the closet or anything like that, but it was nice to go back and see why I disliked it. Because my intention is to view this movie, especially the ones I've seen before, with a queer lens. Did some research before I sat down to film this video, before I watched the movie. So really quick, the movie is directed by James Whale and it came out in 1932. I did do a video on James Whale, a Masters of Horror. I really should get back to doing those, but I'll link it up here if you want to hear more about him. In the context of this video though, it's important to note that James Whale was an openly gay filmmaker, which in the 1920s and 30s is just unheard of. So because of that, because he was openly gay at the time he was working in Hollywood, a lot of his movies have been interpreted as having gay subtext. So in the case of The Old Dark House, after doing some reading, the femme family specifically is seen as being queer coded, in contrast with the aggressively heterosexual travelers that come to stay in the house for the night. A few specifics to note, Rebecca and Horace femme, their personalities and their characteristics seem to subvert the the traditional gender roles. The patriarch of the family, which is kind of a big reveal, is a woman, like dressed as a man. And it, from what I remember, I think it's, I don't want to say it's like obvious that it's a woman, but the character's voice is very high, and it's like just like a fake nose or something. There's like a prosthetic nose, and that's really all that they did to try and make this character seem more like a man. So I feel like there's kind of like a trans moment in there somewhere maybe. But just the femme family as a whole represent like the societal outsiders. Maybe possibly is representative of how James Whale felt himself, being an openly gay director in Hollywood. And instead of treating the femme family with like disgust and fear, the movie treats them with a lot of sympathy. So armed with this knowledge, I'm gonna now rewatch The Old Dark House, and I will come back and let you know if anything has changed. So I did like it better this time. Seeing the context behind the film going into it helped a whole lot, especially the relationship between Pendrell and Gladys, which I thought was so forced and so annoying the first time I watched it. Having that understanding now helped. It helped me enjoy the movie a whole lot more, because I mean, I found it funny the first time I watched it, but I thought it was hilarious this time, like paying more attention to the interactions with the other characters, and there are just some really hilarious lines in there, especially from Horace, who I think is just like my favorite character in the whole movie.
Only gin. I like gin. Have a potato. I wish to be miserable all the evening.
It was definitely a slightly different experience watching it through the lens of like the femme family subverting these gender norms and things like that. Like I mentioned before, Horace and Rebecca. Horace is like stereotypically feminine. He's very anxious, he worries a lot, he defers to Rebecca for decision making, as does everybody else in the house, including Morgan. Anytime Horace gives Morgan an order, Morgan looks to Rebecca first for approval. In a house full of men, it's definitely something to see the woman being the head of the household. It's hard to tell whether like this was actually put into the movie intentionally or people are just reading this about the movie, but some of it is like, it's hard to imagine that this wasn't purposeful on some level. Like there's a line in there where Gladys is talking about Bill, and she says Bill likes people to think he's rather gay. Obviously in the actual like context of the conversation she means happy, but I mean, come on. At one point towards the end, like everybody gets locked in these like closet-like spaces, like cupboards and cellars, and they have to break out of them. There's that whole conversation between Pendrell and Saul, and Pendrell's kind of trying to hold Saul off, keep him distracted, and they talk about liking each other. The way Morgan holds Saul at the end of the movie when he realizes Saul is dead. So overall, I thought it was way funnier this time around. I see the humor in it a lot more this time. I think upon first watch, I was I mean, if you went back and watched my review, you can tell I was super annoyed. I still think plot-wise though, just for me, it does lose its way a little bit towards the end after Saul gets let out. There's a lot of fighting, and there's like all that tussling with getting Morgan locked away, and then the whole thing with like Saul and that whole conversation that happens, and that fight, it just like goes all over the place before it finally ends. And then the women confront Morgan, and it's just like, I don't know, I feel like at the end I'm kind of just like, what's happening again? So my rating did go up a little bit. Previously I had given this movie a 2 out of 5, being mostly annoyed, and this time around I'm thinking about a 3.5 out of 5. So if you've seen The Old Dark House, which I'm sure most of you have, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. If you haven't, I believe it's on Amazon and YouTube for a rental fee. It's free on Canopy. If you have that, all you need is a library card for that, and it's free. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Wren's list alone is like 100+ queer horror movies, so if you don't like this, I would like to know now. That's not all I'm gonna do. You know, it's not just gonna be that entire list of movies from here on out until I'm finished, and they're going to be spread out between different videos. And I'm gonna watch the movies regardless, but if you're not interested in me doing a video on it, I would like to know now, so I don't waste your guys' time. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a creepy peep today. I post 2 new videos a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, so I'll see you next week with a new video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.